Hey everyone, this is Steve Holt. This is the final post in my blog series I've been calling Tales from New England. I went up and spoke at a conference up in New England, decided to spend a couple extra days hanging out and vacating myself for a much needed vacation. It was great. The entire time I was up there, everywhere I looked, I learned something new. I educated myself. And so I've been sharing some of that stuff with you guys in my series called Tales from New England. Today's post is going to be called Be the Canary, and I'll explain that in just a second. But first of all, I want to give a shout out to my alma mater, University of Tennessee at Martin. Today was our homecoming, and we skunked them 61-23. Woohoo! Way to go, Skyhawks. So I thought I'd give a shout out to them. It was a great game. Now let me talk about Be the Canary. What happened was I found myself having dinner one night in a town called Newport, Rhode Island, which is a great place to vacation, by the way. I don't know if you've ever done that, but it's a great place to go vacation. I was at a restaurant on Bowen's Wharf called 22 Bowens. It was a great atmosphere, great food, great service, and I learned quite a bit as I was having dinner that night. What happened was I was sitting there at the table, and I noticed over to the left a family who had gotten there before us, and they were waiting on their dinner. Now, I don't know if you have ever been to this restaurant, but it's one of those restaurants where in addition to the table servers, they have a second set of servers that go around and just randomly look at all the tables to make sure there's not any dirty dishes that need removing or glasses that need to be filled. When the food comes out from the kitchen, these are the guys who actually deliver the food to the table. So they actually helped the table servers. It was pretty neat to watch this because they were working as a team together. It was pretty neat how efficient they were. So I'm looking over at this family over to the left, and the young man was bringing their dinner to the table. And I saw him walk over toward the tables. He hadn't quite gotten there yet. And he noticed that the appetizer plates and utensils were still sitting on the table. And at this restaurant, after you're done with your appetizers, they immediately take the dishes away and they don't let them sit there. And so he noticed that there was a problem. So he turned around, took the food back to the kitchen. He immediately went straight to the table, cleaned it up, removed everything, took all the dirty stuff to the kitchen, and then brought the food right back to the table and delivered it. Now, what immediately went into my mind when I saw this was this. This is a canary in a cage. Now, I didn't eat canary that night. I ate fish. But the reason that the canary came to my mind was this. I don't know if you know much about the coal mining industry, but for many, many years, when coal miners would go down into the mines, they would take the canary in a cage with them, because the canaries are apparently very susceptible to methane gas and all the nasty stuff that comes out of mines, and so if they sense any of that, they start going bonkers, and if it gets really, really bad, the bird dies. So the canary was the miner's way of keeping track of when there was a warning sign, when something bad was getting ready to happen, and therefore they could take action, get out of the mine, and save themselves. And the canary was the method that they used to alert themselves that, hey, there's a problem going on here. And so the first thing that came to my mind when I watched this young man was he was being the canary. He noticed that there was a problem. He didn't wait for somebody else to solve it either. He solved it himself. But in order to continue to provide the optimum level of service that is expected at that establishment, he knew, I can't just drop this food off at the table and push the dirty dishes to the side and go on about my business. I can't do that, because that's not the way we do things around here. So he took care of the problem. He removed the stuff he needed to remove. He brought the food that needed to be brought, and it gave them the experience of eating at 22 Bowens that 22 Bowens wants to provide them. And so, of course, I immediately started thinking about businesses who don't do this. How many times have you gone to a restaurant, to a shop, to a business of some sort, and there was all sorts of problems going on, but the people who worked there didn't see any of it, didn't recognize any of it. The service was lousy. Multiple people who work at the same business weren't telling the same story. They weren't on the same page. The customer seemed to be the last thing on their minds. How many times has that happened to you? It's happened to me a lot. And so you can really set yourselves apart by being the canary. And what I mean by that is, no matter what you do, there are problems that are going to come up in your business and whatever service you provide, whatever product that you provide where you are. But you can, if you're the canary, you can head off problems at the pass. You can recognize them before they become big problems, and you can solve them and take care of them before they become that big problem that ticks off that customer and drives them away, that gives that lousy experience. And so that's my message to you. Be the canary. Be that cute little yellow bird in that cage that warns people or that recognizes that there's a problem coming up. Deal with it then. Set yourself apart by providing that excellent customer service, that excellent experience, because many of your competitors are not. And that's a way for you to set yourselves apart. So that's my final blog post in Tales from New England. Be the Canary. Thanks for listening. I'm Steve Holt.